to talk about this concept of the self with a capital S. It originates from a psychotherapy model called internal family systems, but it also refers to what a lot of other traditions or perspectives refer to as the core self, or this essence of who we are, our true self, our soul, um, this centered place of being. And I wanted to talk about it in the context of how do we access that place? How do we live from that place or perspective for the majority? Or how do we return to it? How do we speak from it or access it or feel from it or be in it? And it's interesting because, for some, they might just think that we just have one part and that is it. But we also recognize, I think most people can recognize the fact that when we get triggered, for example, or when we have an emotion come up, we can kind of move from that centered place. So I think that we can all recognize the feeling that can happen when we aren't feeling in that centered self place, or coming from that authentic place, or coming from our truest self. I think we can all recognize most adults can recognize the difference that can occur in feeling. And if I were with you now, I would ask you, what are some of the ways that you have noticed when you're not in that space? What are some of the feelings or sensations in your body that come up, or that you notice, or that stand out, or almost signal to you, I'm not quite in that space, or something has just shifted. And also I would ask you, how do you feel when you are in that place? How do you recognize when you're in that place? And the reason I bring this up, because most people don't feel like they ever know when they're in that place. And I want to offer as big as a contradiction as possible to that I can, which is that we all know, but that we're conditioned to disbelieve it. We're conditioned to doubt it, to question it, to analyze it. And that the only way to even have the question or the perspective or the curiosity of, am I coming from that place or not? The only way that we can have that question is because we've felt it. We can recognize it on some core level, because that space of authentic self, our core self, that's something that we are born with, we're born as, and it's very much conditioned out of us. In most cultures, it's conditioned out of us because, there's many reasons. One might be that we're more easily dominated by governmental structures, by rules, by hierarchy, by discrimination, that those ruling factors would not exist if we were not human and able to have our humanness in a way conditioned out of us. And so we're born with many abilities, but throughout our lives we are taught or conditioned or learn or hurt or dominated into believing that We don't actually have that. And so some of the qualities of the core self, of that essence of who we are, it's in simplest terms, it's a more open, expansive, calm, often loving sensation, present sensation. And the common way of recognizing when we're not in that place is anytime we feel contracted, we feel smaller, we feel limited, we feel some sense of scarcity, or obviously limited belief or fear, some sort of resistance, doubt. And that is gonna often be the majority of our experience, and that's okay. Because we are made of many different parts. We're actually meant to experience all those things because that's how we learn. And so I want to not only offer this confirmation that we in fact have this core essence within us at its fullest capacity already. I think I lost my train of thought. I was thinking about Hazel. So we not only have that, let's see, but we also have these other parts that and ways of experiencing life that help us learn and grow and expand. And so we have those critical parts. We have those doubting parts. We have those analyzing parts. We have those fearful parts, so that we can, so in a way we can become blended with them. We can become triggered. We can experience turmoil. We can experience the sensation of being away from that centered place, so that we can then learn the practice of coming back. And I very much believe, and this is talked about in a lot of from different psychological models or perspectives, or even spiritual traditions, that really much of our purpose in life is to learn the capacity to come back, or to trust that that's always there, that it never leaves us, that we're always tied to that core self, no matter what we've experienced, no matter how much trauma we've endured, no matter what tough and rigid patterns we have or have developed, no matter that place, that capacity as well, never, ever goes away. And that really much of our purpose and the beauty of life is learning how to come back home to that, and how to trust it and have faith in it. And so I wanted to just share that reality, that core self is already there, and that you already know what it feels like, that everyone knows what it feels like, and that we go in and out of feeling confident in the fact that we know what that feels like, because we go in and out of different experiences and different triggers and different parts. But that also is highly valuable and a part of our experience, and how we learn and how we grow and why we're here. And so, of course, the more we can either remain in self or return back to this core self, the less suffering we experience, the more grounded peace we experience. So of course, that's a beautiful ideal, and something we can continue to grow and build over our lifetime. But to not do it from a place of avoidance or spiritual bypassing, for example, where we just want to remain in that beautiful space. I mean, everyone wants that, but yet we wouldn't be alive and we wouldn't be human if we did that. And so we're here to be human. We're here to be alive and experience all things, and to also know and remember and reconnect and return to time and time again who it is that we really are. And so wanted to leave that with you, and also again leave those questions with you of when do you know you're there and when do you know you're not there. And so just sending you all so much love, and thanks for listening.